Chapter 9.3, Day 2, Example 2. To solve a quadratic equation by completing the square, write the equation in the form x squared plus bx equals d, which means in simple words that the x term should be on one side and the constant should be on the other side. So there should not be any constant with the x terms. When you complete the square as part of solving an equation, you must add the number to both sides of the equation. In the previous example, we were doing the expression. So we didn't have to add the number on both sides because there was just one side. In this case, we have two sides. One is this side, the other one is this side. So whenever we add number here, we add on the other side as well. So let's see how we do example 2. Solving a quadratic equation by completing the square. Solve x squared plus 8x minus 3 equals 17 by completing the square. As we know, our equation is not in the form of a perfect number, because the perfect is that where you have the x term on one side and the constant on the other side. Step number 1, we are going to move the -3 onto the other side. So move the imperfect number, so this is imperfect number, -3, and add 3 on both sides, so that you get the x term on one side and the constant on the other side. When you add 3 on both sides, you get x squared plus 8x in this side, and on the other side 17 plus 3 becomes 20. The next step is the same as previous, that you're going to take a b is 8, and take a half of b, which means 8/2. Then you're going to square the b/2 and add to each side. b/2 is 4. You square that 4 and add to this side as well as this side. So the new equation that you're going to get is x squared plus 8x plus 4 square. 4 square means 16. So you're going to add 16 on both sides. So the equation is x squared plus 8x plus 16 equals 20 plus 16, that is 36. Now you're going to write that into the perfect square. X here, square root of 16, that is 4 here. You write that into a bracket, and then x plus 4 square is 36. Now we are going to solve for this equation, because in this case we are going to solve for the quadratic equation. Solve for x means that you're going to take the x by itself. To remove the square, we're going to use the square root on both sides. Square root and square cancel. You got x plus 4 equals plus or minus 6. Square root of 36 is 6. So x plus 4 equals 6. So there are two equations out of this one equation. One is x plus 4 equals 6, and other is x plus 4 equals -6. When you solve this, you're going to get two answers. When you subtract 4, you get 6 minus 4, that is 2. And in this case, when you subtract 4, you got x equals -10. So the two answers are x equals 2 and x equals -10. Next, we are going to do the u-try problem and solve for x. The number 7, if you look at number 7, that it has a number in the front of x squared. So we need to take care of this number first. So it means that we're going to divide the 2 with the whole equation. So my first step is going to divide the 2 to the whole equation, so that I can get the equation that is free from a in the front, so there should be no number in the front. So the equation that I'm going to get here is x squared plus 2x plus 5 equals 27. Now my next step is to get the x squared term or x term on one side and the constant on the other side. So that's going to be, subtract 5 on both sides, you get x squared plus 2x plus, we need a number here, 27 minus 5 is going to be 22. Now we are going to find a number that we can add at the end of these two numbers. So the process for finding that number is to find the b and half of b. b is 2, so the half of 2 is 1. And you're going to take a square of 1 and add on to both sides. So what you got here is x squared plus 2x plus 1 square on this side. So you're going to add this 1 square on this side as well as this side. So you got here is 22 plus 1 square. Now we are going to write this into a perfect square. So I would make a bracket. This x goes here, this 1 goes here, and the sign of the middle term go in the middle. So your equation is x plus 1 square equals 23. So 22 plus 1 is 23. If you're looking for x value, you're going to take a square root on both sides. So you got the square root on both sides. And you got plus or minus 23. Then you're going to find out the x value. So x plus 1 equals plus or minus 23. Subtract 1 on both sides. You got x equals negative 1 plus or minus 23. So there are two answers. One is negative 1 plus square root 23 and the other one is negative 1 minus square root 23. For question number 8, you're going to add at the end of these two numbers a number that can make this equation a perfect square. So step number 1 is to find the b, that is coefficient of x. Half of b is negative 6 over 2 and that's negative 3. Now you're going to square the b over 2 or negative 3 square and that's going to be 9. Add 9 on both sides. So add 9 here and here. So you add 9 at the end of this equation and on to this equation. This one you write it in a perfect square. So x here, square root of 9 here. And then you're going to write the negative sign in here. X minus 3 square equals 36. Now you're going to solve for x. It means that you need to take a square root on both sides. When you take a square root, you're going to cancel the square and square root. You got x minus 3 equals plus or minus 6. So you have plus or minus 6. It means x minus 3 equals 6 and x minus 3 equals negative 6. Add 3 on both sides. You got this one as x equals 9 and this one as x equals negative 3. So the two answers are going to be x equals 9 and x equals negative 3.